Hey, Super Rad 94.9 Radio Western. We're crammed into Mental State's jam space. Boys are going to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Michael, and if I had wheels, I would be Michael. I play drums in Mental State. Thank you.
I'm Ian. I play guitar and do some vocal things in the band sometimes. Usually I say the stupid things sometimes. And yeah, if I had wheels, I'd also be named Michael. Just personal choice.
What's going on? I'm the low-end slanger himself, Jackson. I am a bassist and the backing vocalist for Mental State, now officially on this album. Yeah, if I had wheels, I would be named Jackson. So, yeah, thank you. Very stoked to be here.
All right, so you guys got a show coming up at Rum Runners on the 20th in promotion of the album that just dropped the day we're recording on the 13th, Friday the 13th, January 11, or the 11 Steps.
Yes.
I forgot the name. I've listened to it like 8 times today, and I forgot the goddamn name already. But, yeah, killer record. There's a couple singles came out before. Those weren't initially the actual masters, though, right? Like,
No, they
those got
weren't.
dropped before they got mastered.
Get 'em out. Yeah.
It's like a bad crap, man. You eat too much McDonald's, you got to get them out.
Well, it's a good strategy because you release 2 singles and like people think that's how they sound, and then you drop the album, and then they like listen to it again, and it's like, oh, these sound nice. I'm gonna listen to these ones, so you get like double the streams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you get like double the pennies from Spotify. So, what were your like influences on the record? I guess we'll go around the room, starting Mike first.
Well, I really like Beastie Boys, and a lot of the parts I wrote, I like to kind of get into those. Or am I close enough now?
Yeah, you're good.
I like to get into those kind of hip-hop grooves, especially like the start of Scene Police, which is one of the parts that I wrote. I got that one from Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun by Beastie Boys, because that's a freaking awesome record. And yeah, I really like a lot of the old funky kind of groove stuff, and for some of the ska parts, you know, kind of just fit in. So yeah, I had a great time making the album, and you know, putting little bits of spice wherever I could.
The Mikey twang on it. The Mikey twang.
Your inspiration.
It's my turn? Okay. Well, it's kind of hard because, like, I go through, like, these phases of, like, writing especially, and it's, like, I'll, like, be, like, writing, like, songs, like, Won't Be Mine, and, like, lyrically and stuff, it's a lot more, like, horror influenced by, like, the Misfits and stuff like that, and then you get, like, songs like Death where I'm, like, really, like, going back into, like, the good old, like, emo days of, like, My Chem, and then past that you get songs like Boring Life that was very like reinventing Axl Rose Against Me-esque type of stuff there, especially on the guitar. So it's like there's a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of like branching out we did, especially with the ska stuff. Like we kind of like worked with that a bit more. On Nuclear we had a lot of room to kind of like play with how we wanted like the melodies to go, so it kind of came together nicely. Each song was kind of different in that sense of writing and background on it and whatnot. Jackson, you shut me up.
Well, I know going into this album, I was listening to a ton of like hardcore and metalcore and stuff like that, so that definitely had a big influence on my tone. Like a band I've been really big into lately is called Memphis Mayfire. They're not underground. You guys should know them if you're a metalcore kid like me. But yeah, no, so that influenced the tone, like the Stingray with like the high gain dark glass kind of tone. And another thing too is like Ian's been getting me into a lot of ska stuff recently too. So especially on that album, I was kind of branching off into like little bands like not little bands, but like Catch 22, Sublime, stuff like that. So you can hear a little bit of like that ska influence on me in there, where like I'm going to like really chuggy stuff like Weed Story, where the whole chorus is essentially bass runs and then chugging. So, but yeah, obviously too a lot of emo influence. I hear it a lot on songs like AD and stuff like that. And then yeah, Terminal Lucidity, because I guess that's the bass solo for the album.
That's the bass.
I was listening to Zayman by Rammstein off their first album, and listening to the bass in that song, and I was like, that's really sick. Like I want to do a song where the bass is like the lead instrument and it's like really carrying the song. And then I couldn't try to find something where I could just make the bass the lead instrument, so I just was like, I'll write a bass solo, or frick it, sorry. I'll write a bass solo. But yeah, no, obviously all the same stuff for me. Metalcore, hardcore, progressive metal, stuff like that. All the typical non-punk stuff that for some reason makes me a half-decent punk player, I think. Anyways, I'll take it back to Ryan.
So, yeah, kind of on that, I guess, guys influencing your production, what was actually recording the album like? Where'd you do it? Who was your production crew?
Well, this is a cool one because I think coming off of the last EP, where it was kind of like, okay, we go into a studio and we like have these scheduled days to do things, and like some days, I don't know, especially we found like we just some days we weren't on like our peak, we weren't feeling it, because like, you know, sometimes like, yeah, you get days where like one dude goes in there to do his part, like I'll go in there to do my part, and you know, Jackson won't be there or whatever, and then Jackson goes in and he's like, okay, what did Ian do? You know, and it's like you're not clicking, and like, yeah, the EP was a great like little record. Like we're still stoked with it, but like we kind of, I think Live Off the Floor was the best call, and that's how we did it. We kind of just like, okay, we're gonna sit in this room and we're not gonna leave till it's done. And that's what we did, and it was phenomenal because we can kind of like feel each other out, and like there's mistakes in there and there's little slip ups in there, but now they're part of the record, and that's kind of like how the songs came together, and it was like the best way to do it, I think.
Even like some songs, even like Hail Mary, we did in one take, right? Because we were like, we did it, and we were like, well, I mean, that's what we were trying to do, so I guess we got it, right? It didn't have to be perfect. It just had to be, you know, what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially if you hear songs, like even on Mentally Bruised, like there's a ton of bass mistakes on that song. But I think, like, no diss, obviously, because I love Hardcore 22 and I loved that whole process of making that album, that EP. But it was just like everything was so overproduced, and like the stuff that like Ian and Mike show me from like with their punk taste, there's like little mistakes you can hear, obviously, and like Mentally Bruised are some big ones that like I notice. I'm like the whole time.
You can hear my strings clicking.
Yeah, you can hear me flub up a fill at the end of the first chorus going into the second verse, and I come like a beat off of time.
It makes it nice.
Yeah, so it was like that thing. Yeah, exactly. Like there are some songs that are one take, like Hail Mary. That's one we could not do again because that's like a lightning in a bottle song, and it's just pure chaos. So I love that. Yeah, I was on a call last night. I was playing Minecraft with my buddies, and we were. I was listening to the album, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, this song sounds awesome when Hail Mary came on. So yeah, I'm just super proud of it, and yeah, I'll shut up.
Yeah, I even had somebody say that was their favorite song on the album, even though it's the one that, yeah, we just did once, you know.
Just blew our load on,
Yeah.
So yeah, who produced it? Where'd you guys get it all recorded, all produced, whatever you guys want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, that half the question.
Right, I forgot. It was done. Actually, there's a bunch of loopholes. I don't want to get into it. Who we had to jump through. We were supposed to do the album way back in the summer, but things just didn't work out that way, and we ended up somehow getting turned towards Scott Brunel, and like, you know, like we've heard of him before, and like, you know, we've heard him around. He's done live sound and stuff, so we were like, yeah, let's do it, and we kind of just jumped in there, and we found out, okay, JJ from the Dome, like great dude, great little thing he's got going over to the Dome. Yeah, he's got a storage unit in the same building we do, and we ended up just doing the entire album in that little unit. Like there's a control room, and it was all soundproofed, and there was all this stuff in there that we could use, and it was.
He also gave us a freaking screaming deal.
Yeah,
like,
he gave us a screaming deal.
He freaking like mixed and mastered and recorded it probably for less than we could have rented the equipment for.
Yeah, and done it ourselves.
So it was a good deal, and yeah, like he's a good guy for giving that to us. And it was right in the storage unit too, so we didn't even have to haul our gear anywhere. We just went downstairs to the basement.
Yeah, like working with Scott was, I said to the guys, and I said to him, like it's probably one of my favorite experiences musically, because not only was Scott just an engineer, but he was a producer too. Like the guy knows, like, okay, like on if you hear AD, isn't all the arpeggiated guitar chords, isn't that Scott?
Yeah, I did 2 layers of them.
Yeah, Scott did a couple little guitar licks on the album, and yeah, they're just awesome. Like the guy's a phenomenal musician. He's got a good ear for production and engineering too, so. I'm gonna say, like, dude, hit that guy up if you need production done, because oh my lord, he is the homie.
He is
Oh, he's the nicest guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's.
Well, how can you reach out to him?
Oh, Instagram, Scott Brunel. I'm sure he's got contact info on there. We've just been going through Instagram and like phone number, but we're not going to leak that. So.
Yeah, he's like a live
Stay
sound guy. What's it called?
Continues his business. Stay.continuum.
Stay
Something
dot
like that,
continue.
yeah, stay dot
continue.
continuum.
Whatever. I don't know what it's called, but
Mhm.
he has his own live sound thing that's going
He's doing
down.
sound for us at Rum Runners too.
Yes, he is.
He's
That's gonna be
busy.
sick.
He's busy, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, busy boy. I'll give it back to Ryan.
So yeah, Adam from Lovers was also involved in the production process near the end.
He wasn't, but he is involved in something that is going to be coming out in the next couple months, which I'm sure we're going to announce very shortly after Rum Runners. So that's going to be a cool little thing, because this, if you thought like we're still talking, like we always say like, oh yeah, this album sounds raw, like I think just in comparison to like Hardcore 22, like we always say like it's like a raw album and stuff, but like you listen to this compared to like, I don't want to like leak it, but like what we've got kind of like in our like under our sleeves here, like kind of coming out in the next couple months, it's like this album's like polished compared to that.
Yeah.
And that's where Adam shines right there, because like it doesn't sound like crappy, but it doesn't sound like we went in there and we like, you know, like, okay, we're gonna do like 20 hours on this guitar track, and like, you know, like it's very like
Well, we did
us.
all of it in like a day, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Probably in like, oops, cut that out, Ryan. We did the whole thing in about, what, 8 hours, wasn't it, or something like that? I had to
Yeah.
work that day, and
I
then I
was
came
sick
down
as
and
hell
just
that
slapped
day.
my bass tracks down, and that was it.
We did their parts in that time too.
Yeah.
Their songs and our songs.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You just leaked it out a little bit like a Taco Bell crap, huh?
exactly. Yeah, it was super fun time, and some really cool stuff on there.
We don't speak for lovers.
Some different stuff on there for us.
Yeah.
A very nice surprise, I think. So, yeah, we'll shut up about it, and Ryan I'll leave me at that.
I'll do what I can, huh?
Boston.
Boston. Joe Rogan. Dana White. That's getting cut out. Yeah, only that little part though, so that's getting cut out. Makes no sense.
the Boston.
Yeah, just Boston. All right, so I guess we'll move on to the actual like record breakdown itself. What can you tell me about Weed Story?
Oh, you start with a good one, man. So Weed Story was kind of an interesting one, because we originally kind of just came up with the riff, like just playing around like with just some simple riffs, and that was kind of around the time I started realizing, okay, like punk rock isn't like just going as fast as you can. It's like, yeah, you got to have some like pop elements, for lack of a better term, in there. And then it just so happened that was around the time I ended up falling in, you know, almost killing myself in a bathtub due to drugs, and kind of like, okay, well, I need to write lyrics.
Yeah, pot is drugs, by the way.
So it was kind of cool, because we had all these like guitar things going on, like these little runs, and then Jackson started doing these cool things on the bass, and it was just like, it was a simple little like pop song that kind of came together around me almost dying in a bathtub on drugs. So it was like, that was what the single art was inspired by too, because I'm like, okay, what do you want to do for single artwork? And Mike was just like, you got to recreate the bathtub scene.
No, didn't I say that?
Oh, someone said it.
I thought I said that.
So yeah, Reed Story was definitely one of the more poppier songs on that album, and it's great, because like we kind of like, that's what kind of branched us towards writing some more poppier licks and stuff. So it's kind of a gem.
Excuse me, I think I'm coming down with something real quick. But yeah, no, that was one of my favorite songs. I remember like us writing it was super fun. And yeah, I remember just like, I was like, that chorus line is a little boring. I think we need something to spice it up a little bit. So I'm doing those runs that go from like the third to the fifth up to the octave, and that's pretty much the whole run there is third, fifth octave, repeating that phrase.
I'm a musician.
There's actually a cut. These guys are making fun of me here because I know theory.
Don't laugh, the guy who knows theory.
I had a train of thought. No, but it's just like there's a cut run that I couldn't land cleanly on the album. So there's supposed to be a fourth lick in the song that I do live, but I cut it from the album. But yeah, one of my favorite songs to write personally, and just jamming it, or like when we recorded it too, I was just having fun. Like I was playing it like it was a show, honestly. You guys remember I was in there like headbanging and like
I think we all were kind of
kicking and stuff like that. Oh
fun.
god, yeah. You know, Weed Story was super fun. We opened didn't we open the day with that?
Yeah, we did.
We started recording with that
Yeah.
song, and we did that in like what one or two takes. I think it was one take, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
one take.
that-
the one takers.
Yeah.
That was one, yeah, we started with it. I think we did more than one, but the first one we did of the day was the best one. So,
Plus, that was the song that was the first song I think I really started singing on.
Yeah, it was.
So that was cool.
All right, so next up, Scene Police.
Well, Scene Police is kind of it's kind of like that's the I don't want to say it's like the run of the mill sort of like punk formula for songwriting, but like it sort of is in the way, like not in like a bad way. But it's like it's definitely like that angry sort of like, you know, just in your face kind of gives it, and like we kind of like we love that. You know, like it's like, you know, we can like play all these like intricate little like love songs that get all touchy and stuff, but like, you know, like when we get a song like Scene Police or something faster, it's just like kind of short and just we all enjoy playing stuff like that. So, you know, like lyrically it's very just much about like, you know, like our experiences with like, needless to say, other bands, because like we love all the other bands we play with, but sometimes, you know, we get like venues or bands that kind of aren't the coolest, and like, you know, we don't like that very much. We don't like being thrown around, you know? So,
I'll say I had a very fun time writing the parts for Scene Police, because I got the intro there, and every time, usually before the intro, if you watch me play live, on the album I play like that jazzy little bit, and we have the sample over top of it, which sounds really cool. But I pretty much make something up every single time. And then I have that intro part that's I was really into Paul's Boutique because I just got that record, and so I wrote that part kind of inspired by the beat from Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun. And then
See, real quick, where's that sample from?
That sample. Oh, that sample was a cool one. So I was like, the sample thing was kind of interesting because I had the idea, but I didn't want to like bring it up to Scott because I didn't want to like. My mind works funny. I didn't want to like sit there and like abuse them. Like, oh, what if we use this? What if we use this? So we got the mixes back, and we got them back, and I just kind of like threw them in myself, you know. So I went and I found an LA riots, like news report, and I found a ride along of this like sheriff or whatever, and he's going through the city during the riots and stuff, and he finds these group of teenagers. They're like breaking into this convenience store and stealing stuff, and he catches them outside. He's got them all handcuffed up against the wall. He's like, "Put your hands on the head against the wall."
Against the wall. Against the wall.
Come on, get up against it. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's gold. That's gold." I watched the entire news report and I just found that, and I stopped and I'm like, "Okay, like 13 minutes and 40 seconds. Remember that."
No, the sample work on that album's sick too. Like, we'll break it down more, but yeah, there's a couple unused samples, but I think the ones we ended up going with, I think, are very tasteful, especially that Scene Police one. That Scene Police one with like the little jazz lick at the start is so tight. I love it. Yeah, literally, it sounds like he's busting down on like a verse. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I love Scene Police. That's one of my probably one of my favorite songs on the album, just because like I like balls to the wall hardcore, and it's like that's one of the closer songs we get to like balls to the wall hardcore, aside from like Plastered, which we play live every now and again, and things like that. So, great song. I love it.
All right, Scene Police.
Put your
Coming up.
hands on your head, face the wall. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Kiss the wall. Come on, let's go. Get up against.
right, next one, nuclear family. Let's open with talking about the sample and then go into whatever else we want.
The sample is also a fun one on this. Nuclear, I don't know why. Even when writing it, I always had this idea of like, I think just the title kind of drove like that like 60s, 50s sort of like idea of like the perfect family, like the post-war perfect family. You know, you got like the breadwinner dad, like the perfect mom who just stays at home, and you got the two kids and the dog and the nice fence, and you know, like the pretty house that's all clean all the time. And so I just literally went on YouTube and I just search up, you know, like 50s documentary of like about the nuclear family, and I get this beautifully told documentary about this, you know, perfect family and how they live together. So I just ripped the first minute of that out, and I'm like, you know what, this is it.
Jackson.
Also, another song I love. There isn't a song I don't love on this album. I'm a total nerd about every single one of these songs. But no, Nuclear is another one. That's an old song too. Like we wrote that like months ago. Yeah, like about a year ago now. And yeah, another bass part I love too, because that it's just make fun of me for more theory. I'm playing down the octave of what Ian's playing. So there's technically a double octave in there, I think. And then on like the little ending tails of the riff, the doom bam, I'm just doing the octave on the E and the D there. So yeah, I'm just giving you guys breakdowns on how to play these songs and you listen to these. So go ahead, do covers. Steal make money from us. Yeah, steal this album, Big System of a Down plug. Come back, make a good album, please. Sir Shanky, and I'm looking at you.
Hunter loves System of a Down.
I know, big System of a Down guy, isn't he? I'm actually a huge System fan, but no. Yeah, great song, and I loved doing the gang vocals on that too. It was that was Ian, Scott, and I in the studio. What was that like? It was a late night session, wasn't it? It was like 9 or 10 at night, wasn't it? And we had to all those. So every single one of those tracks, there's like no layering or anything. There's no copy pasting. It's all just us screaming. Yeah, and we did it like what 12? I think it was like 12 or 16 times. Yeah, and it was in the middle of vocals too, so it was like the first. I don't know, it was the last vocal day, wasn't it? Yeah. Because you were doing the last few songs, and I had to do Hail Mary and all the backing vocals, so like for Scene Police and Record Store and all that. And my big shining moment on Hail Mary, where I sound terrible and like I'm getting strangled while I'm screaming. But yeah, no, great song. Love Nuclear Family, and yeah.
Yeah, Nuke Family is another song I had a really fun time writing and interpreting a neat, part for it, because I got to. That was like a ska song, so I got to I've never really played like ska music before that, so I did a cool thing with like the cross stick on that, and like I do like a little cute little double on the hi-hat. That's a really fun song to play, and it's really nice I get to do like, a cool cross stick beat instead of just, always a punk beat every time, and I really like Nuclear Family too, like as a song, and yeah, that one was a really good one for me. I'm really proud of that one because it does sound pretty good, damn good.
Today we're going to see a story about one family and how they live together. About Tony and his dog Fluffy. About his sister Nancy. About Mother, who takes good care of the whole family. And about Father, who works hard for his family. Our story begins one afternoon after school. Tony has been outside playing with Fluffy.
Pick it up! Kids, it's all wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Father will be home soon. Oh, Mother still at work. I put some blood on his shirt. And I'm saying, goodbye to the nuclear family.
moving
go
on
better for
to
the whole
You Won't Be
family,
Mine.
don't they?
It's an old one. Probably one of the first songs I ever really wrote. So it was very much, I was in that period of like, okay, I really like Black Flag. I really like the Misfits. I'm going to make like a 1.5-minute long song of just the most vulgar stuff you can imagine. I can't really say what the song's about. I don't think on the radio, but you can probably figure it out. So it's very much like Misfits, very Misfits inspired. Like I love the Misfits. Like I think all of us kind of like just appreciate like the horror genre in general, and just like I think everyone in the punk rock scene just loves, just loves punk rock or just loves horror. So it's like it's a very like angry song, very like one riff based. Like the whole song is one riff, and then I play the solo, and it's literally just like single.
It's an AABA song technically.
Yeah, AABA song for those of you who know that.
I remember for that song, I used to play, if you listen to it, I played the crash on the 2 instead of the 1. I used to hit it on the 1, and then I listened to Social Distortion's second album, and I started hitting it on the 2 like he does.
And you became a cowboy.
And I became a cowboy and a bandit and an outlaw and on the run from the law, wanted dead or alive. So, and yeah, that's kind of how this, I think it sounds really cool like that too. So that's a little tale of like inspiration from where I got it for that song.
Heck yeah, brother. That's a sentimental one for me, because that was actually, I think, the second song I ever jammed with you guys when I joined the band back in October. What was it? 21? Yeah. Or August 21, so it was like in September. My first show wasn't until October. But yeah, second song I ever jammed with you guys. And I remember I struggled super hard. I think you guys showed me Record Store or Inertia first.
Probably Inertia.
And I struggled super hard. And then you looked at me and you're like, okay, this is a really easy one. It's like 4 notes. You guys are lucky, by the way, because up until about the month before we were recording it, we were playing it as a ska song. So originally, You Won't Be Mine was going to be a ska song, but we changed it to fast hardcore, and you guys got a bass intro, because I know you guys love those from me.
We hated playing it, too.
Oh, yeah, we despised playing that song. We retired it for, 3 months?
Yeah.
We stopped playing it.
And one day you're just like, you know what? I want to bring that back.
Yeah, because I think I said when we were jamming, when we first got Mikey in the band, and I was like, you know what? I was messing around with Won't Be Mine, and I wrote it as, a ska song. And then we jammed it for 3 months as a ska song, stopped playing it, and we're like, you know what, let's whip it out for the album, why not? But yeah, super sentimental for me, and I love it.
Next up, Boring Life. Indica, do you want to talk about Boring Life? That's the one you're on, right?
Yep. Come
All right, I'll let Ian talk, and then
I don't really have anything to say.
it's whatever you want to say about it.
Your experience.
Boring Life, probably my favorite song on that album, I think.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, a lot of positive response.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's probably my favorite song on the record. Just due to the fact that like, it was the second song I ever wrote, ever. Like Inertia was the first song I ever wrote. I sat down with that guy for months, and it was like, Boring Life just kind of came after it, and that was in the time I was like, okay, Against Me's first two albums are like my thing, and that's like, you know, like the clean guitars, like the aggressive clean guitar riffs, and then I'm like, okay, distortion switch on at the end, cut. And we never played it past, I don't think we ever played it past like our first show. And then we got
I don't know, I wasn't in the band for your first show.
I think we
That's
only
big.
played it at the first show.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden back in like October, I'm just like, oh, we have this
Oh, it was
song.
way earlier than that.
Okay, probably summer.
It was like early summer.
Yeah, I was-
because we played that song like the whole summer pretty much.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, I got this song. It's like fully written.
Mm-hmm.
It's like done. Like everything's good about it, and we whipped it out, and it just kind of stuck, and it ended up being my favorite song on the record.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful
it
track.
worked.
Talk about your experience.
Hi. I also feature on the song. It was super fun. Ian kind of just brought the idea up to me just kind of randomly. He's like, well, how about singing on the album? And I was like, you know what? Sure. It's a good song. Super nice. Really like it. I'll also be singing it at Rum Runners, so if you haven't bought your tickets yet,
You have your own mic.
buy them or I will come to your house and tickle your feet in your sleep. Thanks.
Oh, that's a be sure to not buy tickets. Grease. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, sick song. I remember Ian coming to us and he was like, "I've got this song, hear me out," and he starts playing it like super clean, like, and we're like, "Okay, cool." And then I just started jamming on it, and it took me forever and a day to get it right because some of the chord transitions, I'm just really stupid, and I can talk about theory all day, but as soon as a chord changes, it takes me like a week to just learn that one change. But yeah, no, so yeah, super fun. I really enjoyed recording that one. There's a couple little mistakes in there too on the bass end, but I think it's fine otherwise. Like, it sounds good. It fits, yeah. It's a little quirky album, a little silly, quirky, goofy. And yeah, no, I don't remember much about recording Boring Life, honestly, because I just threw bass on it, and that was it.
It is my opinion that it's just the nicest mixed song on the album. Everything just sounds really locked in. The drums sound really locked in. I think it turned out really, really good. I think the mix on it too is really, really good.
That was one we took a while on too, wasn't it? We did like 3 or 4 takes of that song. Yeah, no, it's one of my favorites on the album. I say it for every song, but like genuinely, it's probably like, if not my favorite, it's probably my second favorite on the album. I will not disclose what my favorite is quite yet, but I'll tell you guys.
Terminal.
When we met, you were a riot, a broken flame from the inside, but then it changed. Moving for the better.
Mentally Bruised.
Another. You'll notice a lot of these songs, they originated a long time ago. Like the EP was kind of one where it was like a lot of new songs.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Like at the time there were new songs, like they were like fresh out of the bag, like Spoons and Low were just like really like fresh.
Didn't we write Low like a month before?
Yeah, we wrote Low a month before we recorded it. Well, cause like we like hit up Ryan because we knew we wanted to record something. Not like Ryan, but Ryan we produced the EP with. Ryan Izzard. We hit him up and we're just like, yeah, we want to record an album or an EP, and he's like, okay, how many songs? We're like 4.
Yeah.
And then we're just like
4 question marks.
We're just like, okay, great, we're booked in for this day. Okay, guys, what songs?
Yeah.
So it was great because like we got to kind of choose, and we ended up choosing pretty unintentionally well because we got like kind of like a mixed bag of everything. Like, we got a bit of ska, a bit of like hardcore in there, and like it was really cool. But no, we with Bruised. Bruised was a cool one because Bruised was the most like separated song, I think, from the rest of them. We're kind of like, we never really like found a place for it. Like when we recorded it, we kind of knew how it was gonna end up, but we never really like had a place for it playing it live. Like it was kind of always the throw-in song. I find.
Yeah,
like,
Bruised
like,
is a pretty wild song.
We need like one song to throw into a set. It's Bruised.
I don't know why it is. That's a great song.
And it's a great song. It's like it's that it like really challenges me, especially like those
like your offbeat picking and then like
then going
line.
right into the distorted part, then back, and then solo, and then like it's all over the place, and it was great. It was great to like kind of push that, and we did it pretty well when we did it. But I think that wasn't like a hard one to do.
I think it was only 2 takes.
Yeah, so that was surprising because I thought that was going to be a hard one for sure. But
so I'll reveal it now. This is actually my favorite song off the album, Mentally Bruised. Yeah, no, I that bass part I think was written the day of.
So coming up next, we got the Redux is a Record Store and Hail Mary. We'll just do those together.
Oh yeah.
Record store. Well, I think we talked about it. Like we were like, okay, like we knew we wanted to redo Record Store and Hail Mary because like the mixes were not bad for the original.
You could
ones.
tell they were done. Like
They were self-mixed.
You could clearly tell we did that.
Yeah. So like we kind of knew we wanted because like they have a special place in our hearts. I think like.
Oh, they're our first releases.
Yeah, and like they're great songs. Like everyone always talks like, oh yeah, Record Store, Hail Mary, like whatnot. And even we're like that.
Oh yeah.
Mainly us.
Yeah.
So it's like Record Stores. It's a great one because like me and Mike are like addicted to vinyl, and like you're getting into it. And
It's
you
true.
know,
It's crippling my bank account.
Yeah.
I went straight from Christmas dinner with my Christmas money to the record store.
so
I spent like almost $200.
Oh my god.
like it's like, and
like
it's
four
it's
vinyls.
it's ironic because we can't afford to press our stuff. Like we cannot feasibly afford to press our stuff onto vinyl. So it's ironic, but no, I think we all just kind of like love that little safe space, like in Grooves or like Speed City. Not Sunrise. Sunrise sucks. But just going in there and just even if you don't go in there to buy anything. I remember in the summer, me and Indica would go in like every other day, and I would be like, hey, they're gonna kick us out. Like they're gonna think we're stealing because we're going in here for like the 5th time this week and not buying anything. But I just like going in there and just looking through stuff, even though I know it's there. It's just the atmosphere. Like there's music playing.
There's a lot of good places in London to go and buy records. A lot
Yeah.
of places are nice.
Shout out to Speed City. Like I found my coolest
Pretty
records
lucky.
Grooves.
ever there. Grooves is great. Grooves, like you'll walk in there.
They support local like so hard too, like small artists.
You can buy our tickets there.
Yeah, you can buy our tickets there. You can buy our tickets there
For Rum
for
Runners.
Rum Runners, January 20th.
8 p.m.
Yeah, you can buy records there. What do you think about Record Store?
Again, Record Store is another sentimental one for me because I remember throwing that bass part down in like Kalen's basement at like 9 at night when we were just tired after jam. We're like, you know what? Let's just make a single right now. Yeah, no, I love the redux of both those songs. I mean, we're both talking about Record Store and Hail Mary, so I'll break into the Hail Mary convo. Yeah, no, Hail Mary is again, yeah, probably my third favorite off the album, just in terms of how it sounds, because it's just like insanely chaotic. And I just love that, like, I just feel like I'm going insane every time I listen to it, especially near the end where you're doing that little, like, that, like, that super, like, circusy riff. It's such a funny riff to me. Every time you start playing it, I just giggle a little bit inside, because it's, like, it's so goofy, but it works so well with the song. You know, like, the same thing Ian was saying, though, about records, though, is, like, they're getting me into, like, the whole vinyl collecting thing. I've got, like, 4 vinyls now, I think, and, like, 1 CD. But like we had like some of our like best bonding moments, I think, like before shows. Obviously, like we're all good friends, like we're all like brothers, pretty much. You know, we
hate each other.
We practically live with each other. Like, so yeah.
I see these guys more than I see my family.
Honestly, like yeah. Yeah, no, it's just like, and like we just talk about music and like the kind of stuff we like, and I get bashed for liking prog and all that, but I don't. But yeah, no, it's putting my bank account in the red, but I love records, and Hail Mary's sweet, and my first attempt at doing lead vocals. It's not the best, but it's gonna get better, it turned out. It's a song. It has vocals. So you can kind of make out the lyrics too. But yeah, no, you can hear actually during that recording, between each verse, how messed up my voice was getting. So if you guys say I don't give it my all for you, then I'm going to be really upset, because I literally destroyed my throat for that song, for Hail Mary.
Yeah. Record Store was fun. They had one that they already recorded, and I was in a band at that time, but I got to kind of interpret it. And it's a nice, cool, heavy song with a nice, heavy beat that's fun to play. And it's a fun song to play. And then, yeah, Hail Mary is just, I don't even know.
Hail Mary, Hail Mary.
You have to just go listen to it.
It's an experience. You have to experience it.
Because, yeah, that was one where it was like, I didn't even really know where the crashes were. We were just hitting whatever. We did it in one take. It sounds crazy. And who the hell even does that in the year of our Lord, 2023? You're not going to hear stuff like this unless you go and listen to someone jamming in a basement, or you go and listen to Hail Mary on Spotify. Thank you. And pay us.
But when I
right, finally the Death trilogy. Probably like your guys' crowning achievement.
Yeah.
That's the bass part.
Alrighty, let me take it for Terminal. Obviously, this is my shining moment on the album. Is it's a 2-minute long bass solo, pretty much. That's the same lick, but yeah, no, it's one I really am proud of. I ended up catching this chick on YouTube named Teepa Snow, and she's like a dementia care expert. And a lot of the stuff, like I was listening to what she was saying about like her experience with dementia patients, and I was like, I think it would be cool to do like a trilogy of songs that revolve around this like horrible disease, because not a lot of people know about it, but they don't know the ins and outs of it, of like how horrifying it really is. So we figured we'd start with something like, kind of slow and nice, like it always gives me hospital vibes. Yeah. Like every time I've been in a hospital, especially recently with some stuff going on, it's just really been, just gave me that vibe, and every time I go into like a hospital, like a doctor's office, I just kind of think of that song, and I'm like, damn, like this is kind of gnarly. So yeah, that's just me. I wrote Terminal. It took me about a month to write it, just to figure it out and how I wanted to play and how I wanted it to sound, and it was just a really cool experience writing it in like complete solitude. Like I wasn't writing it around people. I wasn't showing anyone it. I was telling them like, I'm writing something cool for the album. Trust me, it'll be sweet. It's gonna come right before death. Just hear me out. And then I just played it for them one day, and they all liked it. So I was like, you know what, this is cool. I've done it live a couple of times. Yeah, it's not my favorite to play live. I think it kind of just kills the vibe. I just want everything to be fast and balls to the wall.
It's a tuning song for me to get.
It's literally the tuning song of Mental State. Yeah.
And take a break after Hail Mary.
Exactly. Anyways, yeah, we'll move on to the big guy, Death. Oh, sorry, Ryan. I took your whole flow, bar for bar.
No, you're fine. We're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, Death was an interesting one, because it originally started like back in March or so. Like it
was about a year ago.
Started as the Drop D song, quote unquote.
And it was our first song in Drop D.
Yeah.
We have like 2 or 3 now.
Yeah, so we started playing with that, and when I wrote the lyrics for it, they were like really dark and depressing, and they were just kind of coming from not like a personal standpoint so much, but just like an outsider standpoint of like looking at how you deal with like things like depression and anxiety and solitude. So it was a very like different song from what we had been writing. Like we were like really angry and like really like just upfront about everything, but that one was like kind of like, okay, read between the lines lyrically, and like I've been kind of writing like that ever since. So I have Death to thank for that. So that song kind of has a special place in my heart, and we like all love it. Like at the end of this every set, or like at the end of every jam, we're like, okay, Death, fucking swing it down to D and give her. So it's a cool song. Like it's come together and it's come into its own over like the past few months, and this recording of it's kind of like the holy grail of it.
Yeah, this one's really big for me, especially this year. I had a couple deaths close to me, so especially like writing this song and playing it live like every night over the summer, essentially. It's a really big one for me. I really like it, and it kind of helps me through some bad times whenever I was down or something like that, and I had the demos. I would listen to Death or something like that, and or play it and stuff like that. Like it's a beautiful song, and actually when I listened to it last night, it brought me to tears. That in 80, really? I actually did cry to our own album last night. I did cry to 80 as well. Really? Yeah, I had like a good 10-minute cry sesh to the last 2 songs on the album. Yeah. Yeah, just with stuff recently. But, yeah, no, it's a great song. Ian had that whole song written. Like, you had the bass guitar and vocals.
Bass came first for me.
The bass, yeah, because, that was it. It was the bass riff, and then you just wrote the guitar around that, and it was, it turned out amazingly. I still think it's our best song to this day. Like, we'd have to write something really crazy, I think, to outdo Death and the entire trilogy, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Death is our best song.
Yeah, that was another nice one I got to interpret, because these guys had a demo of it first, and I kind of wrote this nice, I never wrote this stuff down, but it's just this nice heavy kind of, I think it's like a Bonham-y kind of beat with the double kick or the double snare, and then it's a double kick, like a nice, just a heavy kick, heavy, bottom heavy groove that kind of drives the song, and then the bridge too, and the stuff on the snare. Now when we play it live, I kept it kind of conservative when we did the record, but when we play that one live, I like to, get fancy. There's a lot of room there to freaking maneuver around, and it's a really fun song to play, and I think it sounds great. I would say that's one of my favorites.
All right, and then finally, the song that I first heard hung over on Macy's couch between scream puking, AD.
Oh. AD is probably the only song on the record we went in and we had no idea what we were gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
Like we had an idea, but we didn't have a plan.
It turned out way better than the
Ian had the idea.
Well, Indica originally had the idea to do it, and then I kind of I knew how it kind of had to sound to make it link with Death, but working with Scott on it was kind of made it into what it is now, because he, we laid it down, we laid the bass guitar track down, we just kind of furthered what we did in the Bridge of Death and kind of played around with that riff a little bit, and I did some little octave stuff with it, and Scott's just hey, give me your Les Paul, let me see what I can do, and he plays these insane little builds and stuff, and it really made the song emotional. And then it was my go to do vocals, and it was hey, you're booked for this day. I'm okay, I don't have lyrics written for this, which is a rare case for me. So I sat down 2 days, over the course of 2 days, and I wrote probably some of the most, I don't want to say depressing, but definitely the most thought-racking lyrics I've ever written.
Thought-provoking.
They're very repetitive, and they're very drive to the point. It's a very build-driven song. It starts slow, and it was a challenge because I'm so used to just going up there and screaming my lungs out. This is a song where I kind of had to sit there, and I think Mike and Indica were in the room with me, and I go up to the mic, and I'm just quietly as ever, just give her for 2 minutes, and then I just start screaming that last part, and Scott throws some distortion over it, and it was it was great, and it was, it's definitely one of the coolest songs, if not the coolest song on the album, because it's got all these layers, and it's just it builds, and
What's going on with the heavy distortion at the end of it?
For the vocals,
Just on because the end of it's really muddled.
that was intentional.
Yes.
That was intentional.
That was
For
intentional.
artistic reasons.
So it was it sounds I can see how it if you were listening to it and you didn't know, it just sounds like it's a production thing. But we kind of wanted that. We wanted this lo-fi thing almost, where it sounded it was just collapsing on itself, and then it ended perfectly with this white noise. And that's where I put that little sample of
that sample.
Yeah, when we recorded the drums for that, Scott recorded the drums from the hallway.
Yeah, he put the mic out in the hallway.
Yeah.
So it was it was intentionally very muffled, and then he did some things. I brought in my Gretsch and turned the tone all the way down on it, so I had that really muddy guitar over for it, and it was just it just came together so perfectly, better than we expected. I think hearing it for the first time, that demo was just chef's kiss.
face is blank, my mind is white. Oh God, I can't seem to fucking smile. My lungs collapse in time. My body rests, I can't find my fucking mind. Been waiting for years, and as I lay in front of you, you saw something you weren't supposed to. I hate this place, I wanna go, and I talk just to hear my own voice. I wanna go, I wanna know, why can't I just fucking go? Can I go? Then can I go? Why can't I just fucking go? Wanna go? And I don't know. Why can't I just fucking go? Wanna know? I wanna know. Why can't I just fucking go? Don't know. I don't know. Why can't I just fucking go? And I know, and I know, no one gets like to let go. And I know, no, I know.
didn't care about anything. And it worked. People believed that I didn't care.
I hate to cut you guys off, but so yeah, that's gonna be it. If you guys want to plug your socials and the show info real quick.
All right, so you can find us on Instagram, Mental State HC. Facebook, I believe it's the same, Mental State HC. Yeah. You can find us at Rum Runners.
No spaces. Mental State
No
HC.
spaces.
No spaces. No caps either.
No underscores. You can
No
find us
underscores.
at Rum Runners, aka the music hall, January 20th, 8 p.m. You can get your tickets now for $10, or you can get them at the door for $15.
Mm-hmm.
So
or
you
online for 15.
Or online for $15, because Ticketmaster or whoever it goes through, like Ticket Hub, Ticket Hub likes to take their cuts out of it for doing nothing.
At least
And
we're not getting investigated though. So.
yeah, true. So yeah, you can pick up a ticket or DM us on our Instagrams. We'll get you a ticket somehow.
Yep.
We'll literally come to your door and hand deliver it to you if need be. You better be there. We will see you there, and we will play an awesome show in the entire album for you guys.
God bless.